Hello YouTube, this is Let's Talk Horror and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so today I'm going to be reviewing Sweet Revenge, the Friday the 13th short vignette from the Jason universe and Angry Orchard, and let's get right into it. First of all, I'm not going to be reading a synopsis, and I'm also not going to be avoiding spoilers, guys. If you don't want the short film spoiled for you, please click off this video, go watch it. It's only about 13 minutes long, and then you can come back here and see if you agree or disagree with my thoughts. But let's dive into my thoughts on Sweet Revenge. Okay, so the positives I have to say is, well, first of all, if you are here for gore and to see Jason fuck people up, which I think is why most of us are here, you're in for a treat. We have some pretty great kills. We have some great gore. Particularly one kill with a boat motor near the end of the film is outstanding. We see the aftermath of a lot of kills. Quite a few kills happen off screen, but again, the aftermath is pretty great. And they all look like practical effects to me. I didn't see any that looked like CGI. So overall, yeah, the practical effects, the gore was great in this, and yeah, if you came here for some great kills, which a lot of people did, you're in for a treat. I did like our final girl, Eve. I liked her journey, coming up here with her fiance and her friends. I thought she was an interesting character to follow, about how, she has some self-doubt and how, as the short goes on, it kind of becomes her story of revenge and betrayal, as the short film puts it in the film with a line of dialogue. So I really liked following her. I thought the performance by this actress was good as well. So very good final girl with Eve. I don't know where I'd rank her in a final girl ranking for the franchise, but I did enjoy her, and I liked the little twist they put on it at the end of the film as well. Again, for a short film, I thought the production value was good. I thought this was very well directed by Mike P. Nelson. The lake looks outstanding. I thought this was a great setting for Crystal Lake. Again, the lake in the franchise looks fairly hit or miss, especially in part 3. It does not look good at all. I thought the lake looked great here, and that's very important because the lake and the camp is almost a character in and of itself in this franchise. And again, I thought the setting was very well done. The score, I really liked the score in this too. It was like a modern take on Harry Manfredini's score. Yeah, you get a lot of the sound cues and a lot of, the original music, or what feels like the original music from the 80s movies in the franchise, but it had a modern spin on it that I really liked. So I think they did a good job of blending, a more modern take on the classic Friday the 13th theme, and I think they knocked it out of the park, quite frankly. Now on to my negatives. Outside of Eve, her fiance, the girl he's fucking behind her back, and Harold, you don't get to know anyone else. Everyone else in this friend group, and there's 2 or 3 other people, you don't get to know at all in any way, shape, or form. That was a little disappointing, and I get it. They only had 13 minutes, but that was a little disappointing. And on top of that, Harold is maybe my least favorite part of this. I get it. They felt like they needed a crazy Ralph, creepy character, but his entire role and all his dialogue just felt very forced and just didn't feel natural at all. And it just felt like he was there to be the crazy Ralph type character for the sake of being the crazy Ralph type character. And even his, death was kind of hokey. Even his death was kind of hokey. I forgot to mention in my positives as well, guys, that I think we all expected this to be an Angry Orchard commercial, a glorified Angry Orchard commercial. I said that several times. But it wasn't as much as I thought. Of course, there was some product placement, of course, with the apples and stuff like that, and Harold owns an apple orchard. There was quite a bit of it, but it wasn't as distracting, and it wasn't nearly as much of a problem as I thought. So I thought that was more well done than I initially expected. But with Harold's death, I think it did jump the shark a little bit. So overall, I just didn't like Harold at all. And his dialogue was cringy, and his character was just felt very cringy and forced to me overall. And then I didn't really love how it ended. It ended kind of like on a cliffhanger ending where it's setting up a sequel. I didn't love that. I didn't love that. I liked the direction they took Eve's character, like the kind of twist of where she kills somebody innocent. You know, she offs the girl that's been fucking her fiance behind her back. And I think that sets up an interesting battle between her and Jason, but I didn't like how they left things. I didn't necessarily love how they ended things with the short film. And then overall, sadly, I mean, Jason is kind of a mixed to negative aspect here too. I don't love the mask, quite frankly. I think I can say that now. I wanted to see it when it was being worn and used how it was supposed to, when it was lit properly and stuff like that. I can say I just don't love the mask. I don't hate the mask. I don't know if I'm ever going to love it. Seeing it, it just looks cartoony. Schuyler White is his name. I don't think this is the greatest portrayal of Jason. He's too small. He's too skinny. He's too small. And I'm not someone who necessarily needs a big, bulky Jason. I think this is too much on the other end of the spectrum. They needed somebody a little bit bigger, and Schuyler White just doesn't fit that as the most intimidating Jason. So kind of a mixed to negative aspect there for me. But overall, guys, I did enjoy this more than I thought. I enjoyed it more in my second viewing. If all you want is Jason back and some great kills and, a pretty decent final girl, this is it for you. I thought it did a good enough job of it. I think it did a good enough job of being an appetizer for hopefully what is a bigger main course for Friday the 13th fans. And if this is kind of Mike P. Nelson's audition to write and direct a full Friday the 13th movie, I would very much like to see what he has in store. So even with a couple of flaws like Harold, like, this not being the greatest Jason, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Good, not quite great for me, but I think it does the job. So give me your thoughts in the comment section below about what you thought about Sweet Revenge, and I will see you guys later. Okay, take care.